So good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Google Introductory training. And today we are going over Google Calendar. In today's session, we are going to learn how to navigate to our Google Calendar, create a new calendar. Then within that calendar, we'll learn how to create events, tasks, reminders, and focus time. And then change the view of your calendar, be able to view it in day, week, or month, and show the different calendars that you have created. Also sharing calendars. And then a few really useful pieces, especially working within an organization, is seeing somebody else's calendar availability, hiding your own event details, and adding the Buckles events calendar or adding other calendars, or subscribing to other calendars. And lastly, we will learn how to print your calendar. So I'm going to start by going to my Gmail account. And within this Gmail account, I can navigate right from here to my calendar by going to my launcher. Just like we did for all the other apps, I go to this launcher up here and I'm going to click Calendar. That will automatically open up my calendar in a new tab. So because you have a Gmail account, you automatically have a Google Calendar. So it will set one up for you automatically. And if you look over to your left side here, in this left column, you'll see Betty Buckles. That's the account that we're using right now. Betty Buckles has a calendar already set up. It also gives you a couple other calendars automatically. So birthdays, that is connected to people within your contacts. And if you add somebody's birthday to their contact, it will automatically add them to this calendar here. We have a reminders and a tasks calendar as well. So if the checkbox is checked, all the events within that calendar will show up here. And you'll see another one at the bottom, holidays in the United States. That's just another one that is an optional calendar that you can add to yours. Google offers lots of different types of calendars, kind of ready-made calendars that you can add. So the first thing I want to do is create a new calendar. So I have my personal one here, but maybe I want to create one for, let's say, adult programs. So I'm going to start by, within my calendar here, I'm going to start by going down to this place down at the bottom. It says other calendars, and there's a little plus sign here. I'm going to click on that, and it gives me a little drop-down menu, and there's lots of different options, and we'll come back to this later again. I'm going to choose the second option, which is create a new calendar. And now here, all I have to do is give it a name. I can add a description here if I want, so when people are subscribing to it, they'll understand what this calendar is all about. And then I'll click Create Calendar. Now, automatically that calendar is created, and you see it here on the left side. It has that little orange dot next to it. I'm in the settings for this, for creating a calendar. So what I want to do now is actually go to the adults program calendar that I just created. And now I'm in the settings for that specific calendar. You'll see here is my name, there's the description, and I have lots of different options underneath it. One of the options that I want to just point out is who has access to this calendar. So I want to see if I want to make this calendar available to the public, because this is something that I want to share either on a website or in a marketing blast, I will have to click this or check this box here, and it's going to tell me you are now making this visible to everybody in the world, and are you sure you want to do this? Right now, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to click cancel. Now, it automatically comes up that it is, because I'm part of the Buckles Gmail system, it automatically makes this available to everybody within the Buckles organization. And the option is that they can see all the event details. I could change this so that they can only see if this calendar is free or busy, and we'll return to this in a minute. But right now, because this is a calendar about programs, I'm going to keep that the selection. I'll see all event details. Now, everybody who looks at this calendar will be able to see everything about each event that is added to it. I can also share this calendar with very specific people. So if I do that, say I want to share this with Wendy Wyckoff, she's one of my popular contacts, so she comes up right away. I'm going to choose her name, and I can add the permissions for her. So I can say that she can see all event details, make changes to events, or make changes and manage sharing. So this is somebody who's basically an admin of this calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and make her an admin of that calendar, and I'll click send. Now it's going to send an invite to Wendy, and she's going to get an email saying, look, you've been added to this calendar, and she can add it to hers. You can change the notification settings here as well. So as events come up, you can get a notification on your desktop. It's really great. Anytime one of our events come up, like today, this event came up on my calendar 10 minutes before that event. I got a little notification on my desktop. So it's a great little reminder. And anytime you create an event, and you'll see this in a minute, when you create an event, you can choose the amount of time before the event that notification is sent out. So we have other types of notifications here. Definitely check those out. And this is how you share those calendars. These are the URLs or the web addresses, and this is the embed code if you're going to put it onto your website. So let's just jump out of the settings here, and I'm going to go back to my original calendar view. And if you notice, that adult programs calendar is right here within my calendars, because that is one that I created. It has orange coloring, and I want to change that color. So I'm going to go to this kebab menu here. That gives me some more options. This is also how you would get back to the settings and sharing options that we were just on. I'm going to change the color of this calendar. I'm going to change it to purple. So now every event that comes up here will show up, that's on my adult programs calendar, will show up in purple. That's basically how you're going to create a new calendar and how you're sharing it with all of your coworkers or your patrons. So now what I want to do is actually create some events on this calendar. So I can create a variety of, let's call them options within my calendar. So I can create an event, I can create a task, and I can create a reminder and focus time, lots of different things. So let's just go over that. So the first thing I'm going to do is create an event. So this is actually something that's going to happen. It's either a meeting or maybe it's a program event. So if you go to the plus sign up here, it says create. Click on that, you get a few drop-down options: event, focus time, out of office, task, and appointment schedule. I'll click event. Now on that, I get this little window that pops up. It's popping up within today because I didn't really choose another day. It's automatically putting this event on Monday, July 18th at 10:30. 10:30 to 11:30 because that's basically the closest time to now. I can change all of this. I can add a title, and I can change the type of calendar event that it is. And I can also change the calendar that it is going to go to. So what I want to do is actually see this in a much larger option. So I can click more options, and I get this view here, and I'm going to see all of my options. I'm just going to close out of this and just get to the same page a different way. So the way I just did it was I created it from up here. Now, instead, I'm going to go to the day that I want to create this event. Let's say it is next Wednesday, the 27th, and I'm going to double click in this day. Now I get that main page, that main event options page. So let's call this Adult Program 1. And it is not an all-day program. So I'm going to uncheck that. Automatically, Google Calendar creates an all-day event. Instead, I want to uncheck that. Now I have the option to change the time. So let's say this is actually at 12 o'clock and it goes till 12:30, and it does not repeat. If this is a weekly event, you can go ahead and click on this. You can change it to daily, weekly on Wednesday, monthly on the 4th Wednesday. So there's lots of different options here. I'm going to say this one does not repeat. And for our purposes here, I'm going to say this is physical event, so I actually have to choose a location. So maybe I will say this is going to be at the Buckles office. And then here's my notification. This is when that notification will go out to anybody who's on this event. So it will go out 10 minutes prior to the event. I'll get that notification on my desktop. Right now, it is set to be on the calendar that belongs to Betty Buckles. But what I want to do is put this onto the adult program calendar. So I will choose this drop down and choose adult programs. You see the color also changed here. And automatically, we're going to say we're busy, and it's the default visibility. So basically, the visibility for this was anybody who sees this can see all the event details. I can change that if I want to. I can make it public, and I can make it private. Those are my two options. And my default visibility is anybody can see all the event details, and it is public. And lastly, I can add some guests to this. So if I want to add a guest, let's add Wendy. Now she is a guest to this. She is going to get an email once I create this program. She's going to get an email saying you were invited to this program and would you like to attend? And if she chooses yes, it will automatically be added to her Google Calendar. And lastly, down here, we have a little notes box. So you can actually create meeting notes. So if I go ahead and click on this, I can create some meeting notes, and you'll see that the document that I create here, once I save the event, it's going to be shared with all of my guests, including anybody who's outside of my organization. So it's a really great way to create agendas or kind of any kind of description about the event that you want everybody to know, especially if you want them to bring some items, something like that. I can also add an attachment. So if I click on this, I can add an attachment directly from my Google Drive. So if you created a document, an agenda or something, you can add that directly from your Google Drive. You can also upload it from your computer, anywhere within your shared drives. So it's a great way of adding documents here and sharing it with anybody who's part of this event. So that looks pretty good. Within my guests, Wendy Wyckoff, right now my guest permissions include they can invite others and they can also see the guest list. If you want them to be able to modify the event, you just have to click this box here. And that looks good. So I'm going to click Save. Now it's going to ask me, because she's a guest, because Wendy is a guest, it's going to say, would you like to send the invitation email to all the Google Calendar guests? And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to send that to her so she gets that invite. Now it's saved, and you'll see it right here, and it is the color purple because it is on the adults program calendar. So if I just go ahead and click on that, here is, I just did one click, and here's my kind of rundown of what's happening. There's my notes. And you can see I'm just waiting for Wendy to reply. Once she replies, it'll have a little check mark saying that she's replied. So I'm going to create another event, and this time we're going to do a few different options. So let's say it's on a Thursday, and I'm going to create it for this Thursday, the 21st. So I'm going to double click on that. Here's my event, and I'm going to call this Adult Programs 2. And it is not an all-day event, and it does go from 11:30 to 12:30. It does repeat. I'm going to say it repeats every third Thursday of the month. And this time it's going to be a virtual meeting. So I'm going to add the Google Meet video conferencing to this. So I want to have an option where my guests can attend virtually, just like you are today. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and it will automatically create a link for my guests. And this is my settings, basically. So once you create that Google Meet, I can go ahead and change the video call options right from here. So this is my settings. That's what that little pop-up was telling me. I don't really need to add a location because it is a virtual event, so there's no need to add a location. I like the 10-minute notification. I'm going to keep that. And this time, I'm going to go ahead and change that to Adult Programs again. There's that purple. I don't need to add any notes. and I don't need to add any guests. And I'm going to click Save. And you'll see here's my adult programs 2. That's the one I just created. That's today, that's this coming Thursday, July 21st. If I go ahead and navigate up here to the next month, it should be the 3rd Thursday. There it is, adult programs 2. It shows up on my calendar. And I'm going to click one more time to September. And here it is again. It shows up every 3rd Thursday. Now, if I want to navigate back to today, I'll just click this Today button and it brings me back to today. That's a couple of different ways to create events, really simple. Again, you can go up here and click Create, or you can just double click within the calendar to create your event. So we had a physical location, we also had a virtual location, and then we had guests as well. So there's a few other things that are showing up here on my calendar you may notice. One is a task and others are reminders. And here are some recurring events as well. And if you notice, they're in blue, so they're on Betty's calendar. If I want to just view this calendar for Betty and I don't want to have all this other stuff showing up, all I have to do is uncheck these calendars here. And now I see only events that are going to show up, and I'll get rid of the holidays, only events that are showing up on Betty's calendar. If I would want to just see my reminders or add the reminders back in, there they are, and add tasks, and you'll see as I do this, everything else is added as well. So it's a great way to see your calendar at a glance and kind of get all that other busy stuff out of the way. And up here on the top right, this is another way I can change my view. So right now I'm looking at it in the month view. That is my particular preference. But what I can do is change it to a day view. And it's going to show me just what's happening in the day. And you'll see all the hours listed there. And on a week view, and again, your hours are listed on the left and my days across the top. And then back to the month. And lastly, your year view. So you'll see the whole year at a glance. I go back to that month view so you can see here. So lastly, what I want to do now is actually create some reminders and tasks and just talk about the difference between a reminder and a task. So a reminder moves with you every day that you don't actually mark it as done. And you can get notifications about reminders. So if you create a reminder on your calendar and you don't accomplish that reminder, if you don't mark it as done, then the next day it will move automatically to the next day. So it'll basically follow you through the calendar until you mark it as done. And so I'm just going to click on here and you're going to see a couple of different reminders. And these reminders, I actually created them earlier in the month and I haven't marked them off as done. So therefore they have followed me until today. So I have 2 reminders listed. And I'm just going to show you how I did that. So let's go ahead and double click way up here on the 6th. So this day is past. Oops, sorry, I don't want to do that. I want to single click on it. So if I single click, this gives me kind of a quick view and you'll see we have a couple of options up here that we can change it to. So I'm going to change it to a reminder. I'll add this as reminder. Ooh, that should be reminder. And let's call it reminder 3. And this could be an all day thing. It doesn't repeat. And I'm going to click save. And if you notice, it did not save on the 6th. It jumped down here to the 18th because this day has passed. I didn't mark it as done. So now it will show up here on my list. If you just hover over, you see over here, I can edit them. And I'm just going to click on that edit. So you see reminder 1. It just has the basic information. And today's date is listed here because it still hasn't been done. So go back to those reminders. As soon as I mark it as done, it will cross it out and it will no longer be listed under my reminders. So this is a tool that I use a lot because I get a lot of requests where a simple task needs to be done in, say, a week's time or a couple of weeks' time. And I just want to remind myself to do that on that day. And then if I don't get it done, it will follow me throughout my calendar. So those reminders, again, you're able to create notifications with those, so it will notify you when a reminder comes up. A task, on the other hand, is a little different. So you see, these are two tasks that I created. One of them has been marked as done. One of them hasn't. On today, I actually have one pending task, and that is the one from July 11th. So this is a way of keeping track of tasks that you created on your calendar, and you'll know basically how long it's been since they were supposed to be completed. So they do follow you on your calendar on this little list. They will follow you. So it will automatically move to the next day if you don't mark them as done, but it will keep that original task on the day that you created it. And once you mark it as done, you'll see here this task 2 in a moment is going to be crossed out. So if I mark this as completed, it crosses it out saying I have done that. This is just another tool to kind of help organize yourself and keep those tasks instead of trying to create events and then move that event from day to day, just create the task or the reminder and it will move with you until you mark them as completed. One other option is this focus time. So I just thought this might be a nice one to point out. A focus time is when you create time on your calendar where you are basically busy and nobody can schedule anything with you. They can't request any time with you. That is your time where you need to make sure that you don't get bothered. So you won't get any notifications or anything like that. So that's what that focus time is. And so I thought that would be a nice one to point out because sometimes we just need to schedule some time to get some stuff done. And it is done exactly the same way by creating here or double clicking or single clicking in here. And you can always change these later. Okay, so now we're into this idea of collaborating with other people or seeing other people's calendars and kind of utilizing the Google Workspace suite that we have. So we have a lot of options here. And one of the things that we can do is look for other people's calendars. So I'm going to go ahead and jump onto Joseph Plummer's calendar. And as soon as I do that, you'll see all these other events show up. But you'll notice they just say busy. They don't really give me any information about them. So if I go ahead and you can also search for other people. So let's say I want to search for Margaret Rose. I can find her here. And if I click on that, all of her events will show up on my calendar. So you see all the people who are within our organization automatically fill up anytime I start to type in their name. So again, I'm just going to look at Joseph because he is giving me permission to do that. So here are all of his events, and you'll see that they show up in busy, and they're showing up in orange, and it's just like his name is highlighted in orange, and you'll see them all here. And the reason I want to bring up his calendar is because I now want to create an event with Joseph. So I want to make sure that he is going to be available at the time that I'm creating this event. So this is Betty. She's creating an event with Joseph. So I'm going to go ahead and click create, and I'll choose event. And now here, you'll see automatically we've got a couple of guests. We have Betty, who's creating the event, and we have Joseph, who we searched for before. And now just underneath that, we have suggested times. So if I go ahead and click on that, these are all the times that both guests are available. So if you know you want to add some more guests to this, let's say I want to add Darlene. I'm going to add Darlene. And now I choose suggested times. Those times change based on when all three guests are available. So I can go ahead and choose the time that's going to work for all three of us. If I don't like this time, I can again find a time. And when I do that, all three calendars show up side by side on this day view. So it is giving me Tuesday, July 19th, and it's giving me all 3 calendars and everybody's availability. So I can change that time based on looking at this calendar and seeing who's available. I can, again, from here, add a Google Meet, the conferencing. I can add a room. I can add location. So maybe I want to add a room to this. And for our office, we have a webinar studio, so I could do that. Your offices may have different things. So that's a really great way to see other people that you know you're going to invite to your event. Don't forget to always add a title and then click Save. If I click the More Options, this is going to bring me back to that original view. So I'll go ahead and close out of this because I don't need to keep this event. Now I can only really see side-by-side events like we just did. Go back to Joseph. And let's add Darlene. So we have all 3 of us. And if I go to my day view, that's when you're going to see all 3 events happening side by side. Darlene is very busy all the time, not surprised. So the only way I can actually do this is to make sure I have to do this within my settings. I have to actually choose the settings. So I'm going to go to the settings menu up here, and this is the settings menu for all of Google Calendar, and I'll choose settings. And then I want to do view options. So on the left, I chose view options. This brings me down here. And this option right here, view calendar side by side and day view, has to be checked. That's how you're going to get that side-by-side view on the day. So I've closed out of that. I come back here. My search is gone. So I just need to bring that up again, and I can see all 3. If I navigate from day to day, here's my navigation again up here. If I go ahead and click ahead, that's July 19th, 20th, you'll see it change the day, but keep the same 3 guests or the same 3 calendars. Okay, so we've also been seeing that on these events, it just says busy and it doesn't give the event details. And I quickly showed that before. I'm just going to go ahead and show that again. And I'm going to do that on Betty's calendar. So these are the calendars that I have listed here, right? We have Betty Buckles, the adult programs one that we created today. I'm going to go ahead and go to Betty's and click that kebab, go to settings. Now, I want to, where I have the access permissions, where it says, sure I'm looking at the right calendar. So where it says make available for Bergen County Cooperative Library System, this is where we need to change it to free/busy. So it's going to hide all the details. So if you are on Buckles Connect, and eventually all of Buckles will be on Buckles Connect, that's the replacement for My Buckles. We're sharing Google Calendar. So if you want your Google Calendar to kind of hide all the details, this is what you want to do. Go in here and change it from see all event details to see only free or busy. So this is allowing others who are looking at your calendar to see the events, to see that you do have stuff happening, but it'll only show if it's free or busy, and it won't tell everybody what that event is and what it's about. This is really good for personal calendars. Not as necessary for shared calendars, because that's usually when you're creating events for more people to know about and for more people to see. So that's an option right there. Now, I want to add a new calendar here, but it's a calendar or a calendar to my calendar. I want to add a new calendar. I want to subscribe to a new calendar. So what I need to do is go to other calendars. So this is a calendar that already exists out there. It's somebody's calendar that already exists. And what I want to do is add it to mine so that I can kind of keep track of things, make sure I don't overlap. So under other calendars, I'll click the plus sign. So I can either subscribe to a new calendar, and I can do that by clicking on here. And now I'm just going to look for a new calendar. I'm going to look for a calendar that I'll start typing in the name of it. I know the name of it, so I'll do that here, and maybe it's Buckles Careers. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And that will add that calendar to mine. I can change my settings for that. I can change my notifications. And if I go back over to settings, you'll see Buckles Careers is now showing up here. I'm not really sure there's anything that happens on that calendar. If I added this in error, or if I want to change anything about the settings, here's my settings. I can change the color like we did before. Or if I want to unsubscribe from it, I'm going to click that X, and it will remove the calendar from mine. Now, I want to add a calendar via a URL or via a link that somebody has shared with me, let's say the Buckles Events calendar. So I'm going to click the plus button, and then here from a URL, so I will go ahead and click on that. And now I'm going to paste the URL in here, and then add that calendar. It has added it, it's fetching all the events, and you'll see all of the Buckles events show up here. And you'll see they're in this color purple. I'm going to change the color because it matches my adult program, so I want it to stand out a little bit more. I'll change it to orange, and you'll see all of those events change to orange. If I only want to see that calendar, I'm going to get rid of all of these, and there's my Buckles events calendar. So lastly, now I need to print this calendar. So here's my Buckles events calendar. I want to print it. So I can go up to the settings menu, go to print, and it's going to print my current calendar or the current view. So I can change the view here to a day view or a week view. The auto is taking whatever you already had set before you chose print. You can change the font size, the orientation, the outline. You can choose to show weekends or not. I'm going to not show weekends because Buckles events are really Monday through Friday. And then you can click print and it'll send it to your printer. So that is basically everything we're going to go over today. I'd like to open up the discussion for questions now.
So I do see a question in the chat box. Where do you write? I'm sorry, Joseph.
Go ahead.
Where do you write what you're reminding yourself to do or what the task is?
Great question. So when I'm just going to clear this away so you can see, here's my reminders and tasks. So I'm going to write that in the title of it. So if I double click here, we're doing a task. So let's say we're going to do a task. So here's my task. Here's my title of the task. And then I can add a description. And this you can see is adding to my tasks. Now a reminder is different. A reminder doesn't get the description. It just gets a reminder. So this is a very short title basically for that. A task, you actually get to add a description about the task. I see there is in the chat, there's a question, can I delete all events and start over? So you delete all events. Basically, you're deleting your calendar. If you're going to delete all events and you know that all those events are on one calendar, you can delete the calendar and then start over again. In order to do that, you just, you basically have to unsubscribe from the adults program. Like this is the one I created. If I just click unsubscribe, it's deleting that calendar and it's going to delete all the events with it. Now, my personal calendar, I cannot really delete the calendar itself. I'll have to look into if you can go in and choose all of those events and delete them.
So I am back, and okay. I do have a few more questions.
Okay.
Okay. For a task reminder, can you have it repeat the following day once it has been completed?
So we're asking about reminders. You can choose that the reminder does repeat. So let's call this reminder. and let's say it's an all-day thing, and it does repeat daily, I can then save that, and it's going to repeat every day. So I can choose this one and mark it as done. It does not mark the rest of them as done. So if this is a daily task that you have or a daily reminder that you need, it will remain until you mark it as done. The task is the same thing. You can have a task repeat as well.
So it's like a recurring task or reminder, and when it's complete for that day, it doesn't affect the upcoming tasks or reminders.
Just like an event, once an event has passed, it's not going to negate the rest of the events that were scheduled.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it possible to change an event that is on the third Monday to the second, I would say second Wednesday on a particular month?
So you want to just change that one event, not the entire recurring event?
That's the way I'm understanding it, yes.
Yes. So when you create, so let's do that. Let's create an event. So can you just give me that info
We're going to change it from the third Monday to the second Wednesday in 1 month.
Actually, to the second Monday.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Linda. I was just going to ask when we were done if that was the question.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So third Monday to second. Okay. Third Monday to second Monday.
Okay. So it is a third Monday every month. So let's go ahead and call it that, so I can see it clearly. So we have this repeating event, and here it is on the third Monday every month. And I'm just going to go to the next calendar day so you see it. And there it is. And I wonder if I'm just going to get rid of these reminders so that it's clean. So here's my third Monday. Next month is third Monday again, but now I want to change this one to the second Monday. So if I go in here and I edit this, and I change the date, it's going to, when I go ahead and save it, it's going to ask me, do I want to edit the just this event or this and all the following events? So I'm going to say this event only. So now it's happening on August 8th, which is the second Monday. And as I go forward, the third Monday again, here it is repeating. Now, if going forward, I decided, oh, wait, I need to change all of the following to the second Monday. Actually, the third Monday is not working for us. When you do that, so here's the one in September, I'm going to click on that, click the edit. I'll change to the second Monday. I'm going to check, let's do this. Change it to monthly on the second Monday, and then click save. And now there it is in September. In October, there's the second Monday again. November, there's the second Monday again.
Okay, thank you. Does that
You're welcome.
Answer the question, Linda?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Great. Joseph, could you go over printing calendars?
Sure. So this is the calendar view that I want to print. So I'll go up to the settings and choose print. And here is that calendar. And again, you can change the view from the view you chose to day or week. And you can change the font size. So if I want to go biggest, I can do that. Orientation, I can change it to portrait or landscape. And you can go ahead and change the color of it. And again, we had the show weekends, and we can get rid of the weekends if we want.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does focus time for tasks and reminders just show as busy if you're sharing a calendar, or will the details show as well?
So if your calendar is set to only show busy or free, then it will show busy or free. it won't show the event details. Same for
Okay.
the reminders, same for the tasks. Actually, reminders and tasks do not show up on your calendar when you share the calendar. Those are only viewable by you. And focus time, it just shows that you're busy.
Okay, and that would be similar to what shows if you change your permissions when you're sharing a calendar, right?
Yes,
So,
right.
like it's showing as free or busy, and the same thing like with the focus time would just show as busy.
Yeah, as far I believe that focus time, no matter what your sharing settings are, focus time just shows that you're busy, because
Okay.
that's all you're doing is you're setting yourself as busy.
Busy. Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Another question, can I copy the link for the calendar and add it to an email?
Yes. So let's go to adult programs, right? So this one here, I'm going to go to my kebab menu, settings and sharing, and then I want to share with specific people. And here's my people. And if I just go a little bit down, a little bit further down, this is my public URL to this calendar. So you want to copy this URL. So if I just clicked on it once and it highlighted it. So I just right click and choose copy, or Control C and copy that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you change the view options for each calendar?
Yes. So anytime I go into my calendar, I'm in my settings here for this calendar. I can go to the, here it is. You're talking about the permissions and what they can see. So this is the adults program calendar, and here this is where I changed see only free, busy, or see all event details. I think that's what you're asking.
Okay, yeah, there's a note here from Deborah about the share and hiding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's this one. So if I don't want to share this with anybody or not make this public, I can also turn this off. But now it's not available to anybody. It's only me. And if I take Wendy off of this, she can't see it either.
Again, many thanks to Joseph, our fabulous web development and product coordinator, for another excellent class. Our next class in the series is Monday the 25th at 10 o'clock. The subject is Google Drive. And again, I'd like to thank our director, staffers, friends of the library, and trustees for attending. And if you signed in with a non-descriptive name, please email me. Sometimes we do have multiple people with the same first name that have registered. Certificates for those who attended all 8 sessions will be sent at the end of the series. And I'll also be sending you an evaluation form after today's session. Even if you've already completed previous evaluations, we're asking for each individual session so we can use that to determine upcoming events. I'll also be sending a link to the recording and Joseph's handout a little bit later today. And we will be, right now, anybody who's attended a session, I use the attendance list to send the recording and the link. If you didn't make it, we're going to make everything available at the end. We'll send a message to everyone who's missed sessions, how you can access that information rather than doing it individually after each session. So let's just see if we have any other questions. I see a lot of thank yous, Joseph.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for attending.